Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on pericyclic reactions. We were discussing about the Claisian rearrangement. In that, we were discussing an example of 3,3 sigmatropic reactions involving hydrogens. Right. I will continue the same topic today. This molecule actually fits into 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangements when we give numbering 1, 2, 3. So it undergoes a 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement under thermal conditions. So the product will be, please don't change the skeleton whenever you are attempting to write the products in sigmatropic rearrangements. Don't change the skeleton. Give the numbering, same numbering which we were given to the starting material. Now break the bond, this 1,1 bond, form this 3,3 bond, rearrange the double bonds. So this is an example for a 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangements which involve a hydrogen. The best example for 3,3 this type of 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement is Fischer-Indole synthesis. What is Fischer-Indole synthesis? When phenyl hydrogen is treated, this is hydrogen. Because we have a phenyl group, it is phenyl hydrogen. When it is treated with a carbonyl under thermal conditions, it gives indole. This is what is called indole. Because of this cyclic system, this is the two carbons, carbonyl carbon and the next carbon. Then we have a ring here. So this is the overall product. This is what is called Fischer-Indole synthesis. Fischer-Indole synthesis. Right. How this phenyl hydrogen on condensation with a carbonyl followed by a 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement is generating indole. I missed one more bond here. Indole is an aromatic system, so we should have bond here also. Right. Now I'll explain the mechanism again, and then I'll give some more examples for this reaction. Right. When we condense hydrogen with, I'll write, this is phenyl hydrogen. When hydrogen condenses with a carbonyl, what it gives, with the loss of water molecule, it generates hydrazone. In this case, it is phenyl hydrazone. N. Now we will have a double bond with the carbonyl. So this, with loss of water molecule, two hydrogens and this oxygen, with expulsion of water molecule, now we are generating phenyl hydrazone of cyclohexanone. Cyclohexanone, because it is derived from cyclohexanone, so it is phenyl hydrazone of cyclohexanone. Now this will undergo a rearrangement under acidic conditions, like when we apply a proton, this nitrogen will pick up that proton. Okay, then a proton from this carbon can be eliminated so that it generates a double bond here. Because nitrogen is taking this proton, it will get positive charge. So to nullify the positive charge, we are polarizing this double bond towards the nitrogen. So we will add a H plus, we will remove a H plus. So it will give what is required for our 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement substrate. Now look at this. This is a substrate for 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now form a bond between 3,3 systems. Break the sigma bond between 1, 1 systems. So it undergoes 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. It undergoes 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. So the product is I'm not changing the skeleton in the first instance. What I'll do, I will always write the skeleton. Now I will give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now what I will do, whatever the bonds are forming, I'll write those bonds. Because we are generating 3,3 bond, I'll write the 3,3 bond. Now the double bonds are rearranged from 2,3 to 1,2. So hydrogen is there and we will have a double bond here. Now this imine, because it needs just one more double bond to make it an aromatic system. So what will happen? The proton here will easily undergo deprotonation. When it undergoes deprotonation, what will happen? It is generating an aromatic system. So that is why it immediately undergoes proton rearrangement. I can't say rearrangement, proton loss of proton from this carbon and gain of proton by this imine. It generates an aromatic imine. So it generates the aromatic ring again. This NH becomes NH2, and of course we have this molecule. This is NH. Now imine being nucleophilic, this is imine. Imine is like a carbonyl, C double bond O. So imine nucleophilic, carbonyl, carbon electropositive, so electrophilic. So imine will undergo nucleophilic addition to the imine carbon. Imine carbon. So this N double bond, C double bond N will break down to give C single bond N. Okay. I'll just move a little bit. Okay. Now this gives I'll also this is a new double bond NH. I'll remove one proton here because after donating this lone pair it becomes NH2 plus. So to make it neutral, what I'll do, I'll remove this H plus. I'll donate the bond electrons to nitrogen. So nitrogen, which is supposed to be positive after this bond formation, now will become neutral with loss of proton. This NH will take the bond pair of electrons, so it becomes NH minus. So the proton which is lost from this nitrogen will be added here, so it becomes neutral. Then again one more proton from this carbon will be lost and nitrogen will be leaving, because the loss of proton again generates an aromatic system, 5-membered aromatic system. So that is why it again undergoes deprotonation and deamination. Yeah, we know dehydration is possible under acidic conditions at thermal high temperatures. So similar to dehydrogenation, it is deamination. So what we are getting is indole. This is the final product plus NH3. Okay, so yeah, the Fischer-Indole synthesis involves a 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, of course, but that is not the end product. After that, again, the aromatic ring will form again then amine will undergo nucleophilic addition to the C double bond, or like C double bond N, then that generates the indole ring. Okay, so this is an example of 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangements involving hydrazine. I'll give one practice problem. Right. In the next example, we can see that not only hydrogen, even amine, imine can involve in 3,3 sigmatropic reactions, what we call them as ajocope rearrangements. When imine undergoes condensation with a carbonyl to generate an imine, right? So with the loss of water, it generates an imine. So this imine under thermal conditions undergoes 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement, what we call as ajocope rearrangement. See, this best fits into 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangements. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what we will do, we will not change the carbon skeleton. What we will do, we will form a bond here, then pi bond here, then another pi bond here. Of course, we have R group. So this is the product. Okay. Now this is called ajocope rearrangement. The best example for ajocope rearrangement was utilized in strychnine synthesis. I'll give you the synthetic procedure here. Synthetic scheme here. This is a 6-membered ring, and we have one more 6-membered ring here. I think it is not 6-membered, it is a 5-membered ring. So what we have is, and then aromatic ring. Because of this amine, we can make it to undergo condensation with aldehyde. It is paraformaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a liquid, it is a gas. So generally it is dissolved in water and then make available. So that is what is called formalin solution. So that is 30% formaldehyde in water. CH2O N times is called paraformaldehyde. Paraformaldehyde is a solid molecule. It is better to handle solids easily when compared to liquids, right? So paraformaldehyde, of course, it undergoes depolymerization to give the individual formaldehyde during the reaction. It's not a problem. Okay, right? So paraformaldehyde is used to condensation with this amine. First, I'll write the reaction product, then I'll explain the mechanism. Right. What we are getting is This after some steps will lead to strychnine. Strychnine is a anti-malarial, sorry, that is quinine, right? This is again a natural molecule. So this Agercope rearrangement is utilized for the generation of these three rings simultaneously. Now I will explain the steps involved in this conversion. Right. First, when we condense this amine with aldehyde, it undergoes condensation to generate what is required for the Agercope imine. We will have positive charge here. So nitrogen, positive charge. Again, we have a double bond and some aromatic ring here. Now, identify the 3 3 system. So 1 2 3 1 2 3. So it is important to identify the 3 3 system so that we can easily predict the product. So this 3 3 system is identified. So it undergoes because nitrogen is positively charged, we can rearrange this double bond towards nitrogen. So this double bond will be polarized to make the carbon-carbon sigma bond. So 1 carbon bond will be broken and will be polarized towards this. Okay. So I'll write the product again. Don't change the carbon skeleton. Then we are having this 1 bond is not there. OH. This is the new one. Of course, aromatic ring is there. I'll give the numbering so that you can appreciate the bond breaking and bond making. This is 1 2 3. Again 1 2 3. So we have 3 3 sigma bond. Similarly, we have broken the 1 1 sigma bond. Now we will have pi bonds here between 1 2 carbon, and then here also 1 2 carbon. Yeah, when we write for double bond here, we must have positive charge, right? So this is the product after Agercope rearrangement. Now you see we have an enol system here. So enol will undergo tautomerization. So the lone pair on oxygen is utilized for tautomerization. Then this double bond will be polarized towards this carbon. So carbon will get negative charge, right? So this negative charge now will attack on double bond here, imine. This is an imine type double bond because nitrogen is positively charged and it is already having 4 bonds. So we cannot make this nucleophile to directly interact with this positive charge, right? Nitrogen cannot form 5 bonds. So what we are doing, we are adding this negative charge on the other side of the double bond so that we can polarize this double bond towards the nitrogen because nitrogen is positively charged. Yeah, just a moment. I'll complete this. Because nitrogen is positively charged, we can polarize this double bond towards nitrogen. Okay. So this will generate. First, I'll write the skeleton. Somebody has raised his hand, but just give me a moment. I'll complete this and I'll come to you. We have this because we are generating a bond between this carbon and this carbon. So I am writing this carbon next to this. So this is the new bond between this carbon and this carbon. So this is the new bond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Then this system is attached to this carbonyl, right? So this system is attached to a carbonyl, where carbonyl is bonded to one more carbon which is directly bonded to this system. Okay, so now we need to rearrange to this product. So this is the product. Okay,